Hello, I'm Adrian, and I'm taking a bit of a break from the weird stuff this week, and I've got a bit of tasteful, tasty blues for you. Now, I realise this decision is probably going to divide my audience. I can imagine half of you going, oh God, not blues. And then the rest of you may be going, yes, finally some proper music. And I obviously can't please everybody all of the time, but I hope you find this lesson interesting. If you don't, then there's going to be some more weird stuff along very soon. So what we have here is a minor blues. We're in the key of B minor. We've got two 12-bar choruses, and the idea is that we're going to be combining rhythm and lead. We've got some lead guitar and solo stuff, and then in between the licks we've got some chords. And I think this is a really fun and important skill to develop. If you're playing in a band, particularly if you're playing in a band which has just got a bass player and a drummer, it means you can really fill out the sound. Also, of course, this stuff works well as a standalone solo piece. So let me take you through how to play this piece. There's nothing ridiculously difficult going on here, but it's certainly not a piece for beginners. And I'm going to assume that those of you who are tackling this piece already know the basics. I'm not going to be taking you through every single note and every single rhythm, but I will take you through it in a moderate amount of detail, and I hope that will be enough for you to be able to get it together. There will also be a tab up on my Patreon page if you'd like to check that out. Let's kick off by talking about the minor blues form and the exact chords that we're going to be using today. I think unless you really understand the form and the changes, then you're going to really struggle to combine rhythm and lead on something like this. So, as I said, it's a blues in the key of B minor. Our one chord is going to be B minor, or in this case I'm going to make it a B minor 7 just for a slightly jazzier sound. We've got 4 bars of B minor 7. That's the one chord. Then we're changing to the 4 chord, which is an E minor, or let's make it an E minor 7. We've got a couple of bars of that. Then we're back to B minor 7 for 2 more bars. Now, in the last 4 bars of the form in a minor blues, there's not really a fixed way of doing this, but it's very common to go to a 5 chord and make the 5 chord dominant. So I'm playing this chord here, which is an F sharp 7, a bar of that, and then I'm just going to G7 for 2 beats, back to F sharp 7 for 2 beats, and then 2 bars back on the 1 chord. So we've got this kind of 5, and then sharp 5, back to the 5, and then back to the 1 chord. So those are the basic chord changes we're dealing with, and you really have to be aware of which chord you're playing at any given moment when you're playing the lead guitar stuff. Then you'll be able to just slot in some of this rhythm guitar stuff in the gaps between your lead phrases. On to the piece itself then, and most of the lead guitar stuff here is just taken from pattern 1, B minor pentatonic, up here at the 7th fret. In the second chorus I'm kind of going up a little bit into the box, up in the 10th position. I think occasionally I might come down to the 5th position, but it's mostly just in this pattern 1 B minor pentatonic that we all know and love. Now the piece kicks off with this little pickup phrase, and a pickup is just a few notes that happen before the downbeat proper of the piece. So we've got 1, 2, 3, all leading to this note, which is on the 1. That's the downbeat, the first beat of the 12 bars. So this idea is just B minor pentatonic scale. We're starting at the 10th fret on the top string, coming down the scale, and then sliding on the B string up to this B note, the 12th fret on the B string. So that's our first little lead guitar phrase. Then straight away I'm into some rhythm guitar stuff, and I'm playing this. And whilst I'm on the 1 chord, my rhythm guitar approach is mainly based on this kind of feeling. It's 1. So the basic feeling is B minor 7. It's kind of a funky soul blues feel, I suppose. And rather than playing a big B minor 7 chord like this, I'm just playing 3 note shapes. So I'm playing this little shape here, which is just A, D and F sharp. That's the 7th fret on the D, G and B strings. That's found within that bigger B minor 7 shape. I'm also just using these 3 notes just in passing, which is that same 3 note shape moved 2 frets higher. So I suppose that's kind of an E triad that we're using there. And I say that's just used in passing, and it works really well with that B minor 7 sound. So if I play the first lick and then that little bit of rhythm stuff, you'll get the idea. We've got 1, 2, 3. So important to really be feeling the beat here. We've got, that's beat 1, and then we're coming in with this on beat 3. So it's 1, 2, 3 and 4 and. Then we have the next lead guitar phrase. So we're sliding up into the 10th position. Then we're coming back to the 7th position and back into the pattern 1 minor pentatonic. And then we've got some more of the same rhythm stuff. Next lead guitar phrase. So this is really just coming down the minor pentatonic scale. We start off at the 7th fret. We've got the B string, E string and the B string. Then coming down the scale. And then coming back onto the G string, hammering onto that E note. So you can pick all of those notes, but I think I'm tending to pull off on a lot of those. And that's leading us into the 4 chord. This is bar 4, and we've got, and again I'm using just 3 note shapes here. So I'm thinking E minor 7, there's the full E minor 7 shape, but I'm just playing this, which is 9 on the D, 7 on the G, 8 on the B. And again I can slide that 2 frets higher and then back again. So it's 1, 2, 3, and then we've got another lead lick. And the basic lick is just this. So just B blues scale. But what makes it nice is that I'm also playing this high B note, and I'm playing the 2 notes together. I'm achieving that by using some hybrid picking. So I'm playing this with the pick, and then with the middle finger of my picking hand I'm catching that high B, and then you get this nice kind of double stop effect. And back to the same rhythm thing we've had before. And another lick. And this lick is taking us into the 5 chord, and it's all B minor pentatonic. So starting on this F sharp, up the scale, and then down again, and then I'm sliding into the 8th fret on the D, and then the 7th fret on the B, and those notes are part of the F sharp 7 chord. It's the 3rd, and it's the root of an F sharp 7. And then I'm actually holding down that F sharp 7 and just playing a couple of hits on the chord. The next lick goes like this. And this is a nice slidey blues scale lick. I'm starting here on this E note, it's the 9th fret on the G string, sliding up to the 10th fret, and I'm catching this F sharp, and I'm going back down again, and then up to this D, then down the scale, and here I'm sliding down from 9 to 7 on the A, pulling off, and then B, D. And that takes us back to the 1 chord. And that's the end of the first chord. Sometimes I'm just catching the root of the 1 chord with my thumb over the top. And now we're on into the second 12 bars, and the second chorus is kicking off with this kind of B.B. King lick, I suppose. Very Thrill Is Gone, I think, that lick. And we're up here in this little box shape up in the 10th position, and I'm starting off with a pre-bent note. I'm pre-bending the 12th fret on the top string, striking the string, releasing it, and pulling off to the 10th fret. And I'm playing the 12th fret note again, and there's another pre-bend and release, and then playing that 12th fret note again. So it's resolving with D, B, B. And then more of the same rhythm stuff. The next lick goes like this. And this is another lick based out of that same box shape in the 10th position. So I'm just sliding up to 11 on the G, 10 on the B, back to 11 on the G, and then 12 on the B, 10 on the high E, then back to this B note. Then we've got a little 10, 12, 10 on the B, to 11 on the G, and resolving to the root note, this B. Then we have the chord fill, and instead of doing this, I'm playing a similar idea a bit higher up the neck. So I'm thinking out of this shape, which is 14 on the D, 13 on the G, 12 on the B, and then just moving that 2 frets lower. Again, it's giving you a B minor 7 sound. And the next lick is taking us into the 4 chord, and that goes like this. And this is quite reminiscent, I think, of Jimmy Page in Since I've Been Loving You. It's that same kind of 4 chord lick. And I'm playing the 7th fret on the top string. I'm kind of raking into that. So I've got a series of muted notes. I'm palm muting there. Playing this B, going up to the 9th fret, bending that just a semitone, then coming back down to 8th fret on the B, and then C sharp, B, G, G. And a little fill with the chords. I've just got a double stop here. This is 7 on the G, 8 on the B, sliding that up and back again. And then we have this lick. And we've got a 7, 8, 7 hammer on and pull off on the B string, coming over to this E note, and then we've got another flutter coming down to B, and then so. And this 8th fret note, notice that that's not in the B minor pentatonic scale, but it is in the chord. It's the minor third of the E minor chord. Some more chord stuff like we've had before. And once again, we're leading into the 5 chord, into the F sharp 7, and for the last few bars I'm trying to outline the chord changes a bit more than I did in the first chorus. You've got an option with the chords. You can describe them like a jazz player, or you can just kind of blues your way through it using the minor pentatonic scale. But here I'm choosing to outline the chord changes a little bit more, and I'm doing this. So I've got 7, 10, 7 on the top string, and I'm sliding down to this A sharp, and that is the third of the F sharp 7th chord. So I'm hitting that chord tone very deliberately here. And then playing the F sharp here, that's the root of the 5 chord. You can hear how it really describes the sound of that chord. And the next lick is this. And again, this is really in a jazz way, kind of outlining the chord changes. The changes we've got here are the G7, F sharp 7, back to the B minor 7. So what I'm doing is, on the G7, I'm playing a G7 arpeggio, which is, so I'm sliding up to the 12th fret on the G string, 12 on the B, 10 on the high E, and then back to the previous note. And I've got a 13 to 10 pull off on the top string, 12 on the B, and then I'm sliding from F to E on the top string as the chord changes. So I'm hitting the chord tone there as well. And then it's going back inside the B minor pentatonic scale at the end there. So and then more chords to end. Now I realise we have quite a lot of notes and chords and licks flying around right now. Hope you're going to be able to manage to get this piece together. I think what we need is a nice slow play through. So let's do that. 1, 2, 3. So just briefly, the gear I'm using today, the guitar is of course a Fender Strat, and I've really been enjoying playing Strats again after having taken a bit of a break from them. And this is a particularly nice sounding guitar. Today I'm using the bridge pickup, which gives you that great biting bluesy tone. Pedal wise, I'm just using one pedal, and that is an overdrive pedal, a J Rocket Archer pedal, and that's one of these clone pedals. It's quite a mild overdrive, but it's very touch sensitive, got a great mid-range which makes it work particularly well for blues, I think. And then from there I'm going into my amp, which is a Vox AC30. So there we have it. I hope you have fun working on this piece. If you do intend to learn the whole thing note for note all the way through, I do realise there's a lot going on here, so do take your time with that. Also, of course, feel free to just sift through the piece and work on the particular bits that grab you. If you've enjoyed this lesson, I've got 2 or 3 other rhythm and lead type pieces elsewhere on this channel, or you can just go on my website and do a search if you want to find those. Thank you very much for watching. I shall see you next time. Bye bye.